I bet you have some complicated die cuts. So today I'm going to take you through getting through those sets and not getting overwhelmed. Sometimes they can be a bit much. So let me show you the easiest way to get through it, even if you don't have a layering guide. We'll talk about color combos, we'll talk about arranging the card, and all the things that you need to think of as you're planning that beautiful masterpiece. We're going to sneak and look at the little hamster house today in this precious card and how it came together with easy color schemes, easy die cutting, and easy layering. So let me tell you all my tips and tricks for mastering these cards, and you can make your own mini masterpieces. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Today's video is part of a video hop. So a video hop means that there are prizes for commenting. So make sure you comment with the emoji that I tell you later in the video, and just tell me what you liked about the video. I'd love to hear it. Let's get into it. I have 6 different ways to help you master your die cuts. First of all, we need to figure out what size card we're going to make. So this hamster house is very large. It is about the size of an A2 card, and therefore you could easily make a 5x7, or you could take up the entire card with this little hamster house, which is what I'm going to do. Step 2 of the card is to figure out your color scheme. So with this kind of complicated die cut card, I like to keep the color scheme relatively simple. If you're more advanced in your die cutting and you want to use lots of different colors, go for it. But to me, it seems a little bit easier to keep this simple color scheme to help me manage my pieces and get the most out of this. So we're going to look at red, blue, and yellow, which are the points of this triangle right here. So when you're looking at a color wheel, you can do 3 colors, you can go 2, 4, whatever you want. So pretty basic colors, but they are really beautiful together. I'm using Lawn Fawn cardstock, and I'm going to use a textured blue and then a more slick yellow and red. And that's one way you can kind of change things around. I love making a background with a textured cardstock. It just gives it a little bit more definition, especially if you've got so many parts and pieces that you're putting together. It gives you a little bit more excitement on that background. Okay, and once you've got your main colors, you can add as many neutrals as you want. We're going to use some black soot, which is a really dark black, and then we're going to use some browns. We're going to use some silver. You can always add in metallic accents, and you don't really have to worry about matching those as much, just as long as you've got your colors ready. So I'm going to add in some metallics with brushed silver, because I thought that when I think of a little hamster cage, I just think of like a silver cage with a red bottom. Now, when you start die cutting, have a plan. How are you going to keep up with these pieces? I'm using this little plastic container, and sometimes when you die cut pieces, you realize you have all these extras that weren't even supposed to be part of the plan, but that are perfect to keep. These would be perfect for a little sentiment. They're just perfect, nice rectangles. So I'm going to add those to my bin as well. Now, another tip is to go ahead and start visualizing your card and where you're going to want to put these colors so that you can die cut once in a color and you've got all the pieces needed for that. So I already said we wanted a red bottom, and that's just kind of the way I think of a cage. So I'm going to grab all these pieces that go along the bottom of the cage and get them on here to get die cut. Now, when you're looking at a huge die set like this and trying to figure out which pieces go together, just remember that Honeybee Stamps does produce layering guides. When I am making these cards, I don't have a layering guide, and so I'm a lot of times looking, and you are able to figure this out if you just kind of think of how all of the pieces fit together. I know these 2 circles fit together, and I can see that there's another stand down here that's the middle of the circle. So you can do it without the layering guide, but it's definitely easier if you have it, and I'm going to pop that up for you right here. The layering guides are on the website, and so this layering guide shows not only the little cute hamster house, but the hamsters as well. And I print it out, and then I cut it out and put it in with my die set so that I have it from here on out. They are PDFs, so you could always download. If you're really good at organization on the computer, then you can download them and save them to a certain file. But for me, these fit with my die cuts in the little pouches I store them in, so I just cut it out and keep it there. This next tip, if you don't have a printout, really helps. I try to find an image of the animal, and I look at it and decide what the coloring pattern should be, because you can usually fit the pieces together, but sometimes you just need a little inspiration on color. And so I found that cute little hamster and used him as my inspiration. Now, I love to start stacking things and just kind of looking at how many pieces I'm going to need. So I know that I'm going to use a couple more things besides just the little wheel. And I decided that I would do in the blue family, but I'm going to use a different kind of paper. This is a shiny vellum, and I thought it would be perfect for those little tubes that the hamsters crawl through, that they're a little bit see-through. Okay, and they looked so cute, so we'll add those to it. Now we're going to look at this adorable little hamster die. So for this one, I'm going to cut it out of white paper because I don't have the number of brownish papers that I would need to do this. So I'm going to make my own cardstock by ink blending. Okay, so I set these up to where they go in order. So each of the hamsters has 3 little layers. One of those layers is going to be white. So on the left, I'm doing the brushed corduroy, and then on the right, I'm going to add the little bit darker vintage photo, and then that's really all you have to do for these cute little hamsters. Look at how much this little guy looks like that picture that I was talking about. One thing that always helps me is going on and putting the pieces together of each individual item. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble my little hamsters. Then I'm going to work on the cage because that way I don't risk losing the little pieces and they're already there. It's just a little bit more inspiring to see them done than to be working with all kinds of little separate pieces and not get started. So we're going to finish all the pieces. I'm going to do this little running wheel, and I didn't have any gray cardstock that works, so I'm using the black soot and just creating the stand for the little wheel that he runs on, and we'll go ahead and put that together. Tip alert, use glue when you're assembling these kinds of die pieces. It gives you a little bit more freedom to adjust your layers as needed. To make a more spotlight effect, it's always nice to go around the edges, even if you got colored cardstock of a darker color ink. And I'm using black soot just to make that kind of spotlight right in the center of the card. You don't have to do this, but it really brings out the texture in this background piece. I know that's very hard to see on camera, but it just makes it look so nice. Okay, so I am working without the actual layering guide. And so when I saw these little pieces, I wasn't exactly sure what they went to. But when I started putting together my little tube, I realized it needed joints in the tube so that you could glue it together. And this bottom fits perfectly. So if you've got the layering guide, you will know that. I just did not have the layering guide at the time that I was making this card. So I kept looking at it different ways just to make sure I had it right. So once I got this little guy together, I have everything that I need. I forgot to put a sentiment on the card. So I'm going to go in with some anti-static powder and I'm going to stamp right here and then carefully heat emboss this in white so that I don't have to add another piece. Since this is such a large image and I don't want to take up any of the space where I'm going to be showing those cute little hamsters, I went on and did this. Now, most people with their cages are putting the animals behind the cage, but I'm kind of going so when you're looking at your card and how you want to set it up, when I put the little hamsters behind the cage, I just thought you couldn't see how cute they were. And so I'm going to take my vantage point as that I'm inside the cage looking at the back. And that way I can see my little animals a little bit better. And I just like how it turned out. You'll notice I used a little sticky mat to put my card on. It helps when you're arranging things to have your card stationary, especially things that have so many lines and you want to make sure you've got it even. I'm going to add a little shelf. I'm going to add this fun spinny wheel, and I want you to look at how I'm going to balance the card. So you don't want to have everything all to one side. And a quick tip for setting up your card, if you created that spotlight effect by ink blending around the outside of your card, then the focal point of your card is going to be the center. So you want your most interesting items right there in the center. And the most interesting items on this card are these adorable hamsters. So I put my hamsters towards the center and all of my other elements towards the outside. As I finish up this little card here, I wanted to point out some of the things that we learned today. We looked at picking your size of paper and card, setting up a focal point. We looked at layering your die cuts in easy ways with easy color combos, and just being able to add in those neutrals and metallics to create this wonderfully balanced card that really follows along with the color theory, so that it makes it very appealing to look at. And I just love how it turned out. Make sure that if you are entering the video hop that you comment and let me know what you like about the card and if you enjoyed this video, but also put an emoji of an animal. It doesn't matter what animal. And if you can't find one or you don't know how to use emojis on YouTube, then just type the word hamster.
Okay. And that is how you will enter in the chance to win that $50 gift card from Honeybee. I enjoyed having you all here so much. I hope you enjoyed this card and had a great time here with me today. Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe on my channel, and I'd love to see you back for other videos. There will be a couple more videos with this new Honeybee release coming this month, so make sure to stay tuned. Have a great day. Bye.